How I earned $2,628 yesterday selling silly little PDFs. Now let me explain, give you some context. So I think I've made a couple videos about this before, but I ran a bundle promotion yesterday where I bundled up a couple of my offers and I sold it for a special price. I try to do this once a month. I'm not that good at it, and every time I do it, I'm like, that is a nice cash injection. Why don't I do that every month? You know, so I launched a bundle yesterday, but this was a different kind of bundle. This was, I had a good buddy. I moved out to Las Vegas in 2006 from Michigan. No friends, no family, no job, no nothing. I didn't have a place to live. My mom and I packed up the U-Haul, we came out here. It somehow all worked out. And I met a guy named Godone at my first job about 3 weeks into living out here. And he was a few years older than me, about 7 years older than me. And he kind of took me under his wing. Now, I was a wild 25-year-old. I partied hard. I had fun though. And he kept an eye on me. He was like an older brother. And we developed a really good friendship. Him and I actually wrote a screenplay out here called On Maggie. I still have it. I still have physical copies of it actually. We had dreams of Hollywood. Now he was born in Israel, but he was raised in LA. And we were best of friends for the first couple of years that I lived out here. He moved back to Israel in 2009 and got married, has 4 kids. Well, I found out last Sunday that he passed away unexpectedly. Well, it was unexpected to me. He was only 51. And I was shocked, devastated. We hadn't talked. I messaged him in December of last year. We would talk once or twice a year over on Facebook Messenger. It was hard with the time changes and that. But he was just a good man. Just very kind, just a pleasure to be around. His brother lives out here in Vegas, and he's one of my best friends here in Vegas. He's like 47, I think. And he's got a wife and kids. You know, we actually somewhat lost touch over the years, unfortunately. Family obligations. He has 2 kids that are autistic, and he works a very demanding job, and they're busy, you know. So anyways, I found out about this Sunday, and I had an idea Monday to run a special promotion and send some of the money to his wife and 4 kids. I've never met his wife or 4 kids. They live in Israel. And I hemmed and hawed about it. And I was like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm like this opportunist, like I'm trying to take advantage of a situation. I struggled with it. All week I did. I ran the idea by a friend. She said, do it. I was like, all right. I still over fear of judgment got in my head about it, you know, still worried about what people were going to think, what they were going to say. So I ended up sending out an email on Wednesday afternoon. I didn't do any hype or anything. I just sent out an email saying, hey, I'm going to bundle up some of my products. My buddy passed away, and I'm going to donate 50% of the money to my buddy's wife. And so I did give my email a heads up. I didn't post about it on social media prior to it. I didn't do a good job of hyping it up. I sent out, you know, I worked on the bundle on Wednesday night, of course at like midnight, because I do shit last minute. And it was 6 of my PDFs for $37. It was a steal of a deal. It was a steal of a deal. And that's what it was. And I sent out the email. I woke up yesterday morning. I checked my phone at 7 in the morning, and I was at like $554. I was like, hot damn. Now I set a goal to make $1,000 in sales, and we were going to split it. I was going to send her 500. I was going to keep 500. Well, things went a lot better than planned, which doesn't happen that often. My community showed up and showed out. And ended up doing $2,628 in sales yesterday, just from that one $37 bundle. It was like 59 customers. I did have an order bump and a couple of upsells, and a few people took those, so if you're trying to do the math and it doesn't work out, that's why. I was blown away. I got so much nice feedback from people, how kind it was, what a nice gesture, you know. And I got a comment from a guy on Facebook. I don't know who this guy is. We're Facebook friends, you know. And he said, if this is a charity or donation thing, why aren't you giving 100%? And I told him, I said, you know what? This was what I wrestled with all week. This is exactly what I I wasn't going to do the bundle because of this, because I struggled with the 50% or the 100% thing. And I said, you're absolutely right, and I said, I've struggled with this. And then another guy commented on my post, and he had said something similar. He said, if it's a donation or charity or whatever, it should be 100%, minus your hard costs. And I was like, you know what? Those two guys are right. Those two guys are right. And it's something I felt earlier this week, but I advertised it and I put it on social media that I'd be giving 50% to his wife and I would keep 50%. This wasn't a money grab for me, but a 50%, it kind of looks like a money grab for me. So those two guys' comments, I forgot what their names are, but I appreciate that because I thought about it a lot last night. I talked to a few friends and I was like, you know what? I got to give her 100%. So I messaged my buddy this morning, Harry, which is his brother. We chatted a bit and he shared more of the details about what happened, and he passed away from cancer, which I didn't know that at the time. And he just got diagnosed a few months ago and it just spread rapidly. He did chemo and chemo kind of helped for a little bit and then it didn't help. And it spread to his brain and it didn't take long. I'm grateful my buddy Harry, his parents, his sister, they all flew over to Israel. They were all there, for the last 2 weeks. He said they talked about me as he was laying in his hospital bed, which I thought that was super cool. And he said, man, his face lit up like a Christmas tree when I brought up your name, So that was really cool to hear. So I'm going to give her 100% of it, minus my hard cost. Stripe fees, PayPal fees. A couple of those sales were one-on-one calls. That was like an order bump. So I'm going to give her the 100. Technically, I guess it's not 100%, but I'm going to minus out my hard cost, and I think I'm going to be sending her $2,300. And it was a couple of comments. These guys were nice about it. They weren't dickheads about it, but they both got me to think a little bit differently, and I appreciate them. And I'm going to make a post about it tomorrow on Facebook, thanking these guys. I didn't look at them as being mean or assholes or dickheads. I appreciated them, because it made me think, and so some of the numbers, so 59 sales, $2,600, 64% of my sales came from email. 24% of my, so I sent 5 emails. I only had 16 unsubscribes, which is 0.002% of my list. A lot of people think if you email your list a lot, they'll unsubscribe. Not always the case. I emailed 5 times and 16 people unsubscribed, which again is 0.002% of my list. So 64% came from email. I posted about it twice on Threads. 24% of my sales came from Threads. And then the rest came from Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I think I got 3 sales from YouTube, 2 from Facebook. 3 from Instagram, 2 from YouTube, and 1 from Facebook. So those bottom 3 were minimal. The large portion of the sales came from email and Threads. And I yap about this all the time on social media. If you're not building your email list and emailing your email list, like, you're leaving so much money on the table. I see so many guys and gals hustle their little tushies off on social media, posting all day, every day, trying to be on all the platforms. And I'm like, dude, do you know if you just spent time building your email list and emailing it, you could cut your workday in half. In half. And the ironic thing, you could cut your workday in half and your sales would increase. I'm telling you, email, I know it's not sexy, it's not flashy, it's old, it's boring. I get it. AI is fun and exciting. Email has been around since the internet started. I don't see it going away anytime soon. People still buy from email. I send out daily email. By the way, if you want to jump on my newsletter, click down below. I have multiple testimonials of people thanking me for emailing them daily. I tell a story in every email. So email, if you're building on YouTube, use YouTube to build an email list. If you're building on Instagram, use Instagram to build an email list. If you're building on TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Facebook, a podcast, a blog, I don't care where you're building. Drive those people to email. Email is personal. Email is intimate. Email is where people spend money. I mean, you get on Best Buy's email or Bed Bath & Beyond or Victoria's Secret or any of those, you're going to get multiple emails a day. There's a reason they do that, because it works. It's very, very profitable. So that's the lesson I took away from this launch. And one other thing that I made a mistake about, I didn't hype it up enough beforehand. And I wish I would have, because I was hemming and hawing. I was half pregnant going up to it. You know, Monday I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. No. Yeah, I'm going to do it. No. Back and forth, back and forth. And that indecision cost me sales, which ultimately would have been money for Debbie and the 4 kids. Because I went back and forth on if I was going to do it or not. If I would have committed to it Monday and said, I'm running with it, I'm doing it, I could have started talking about it on social media. I could have emailed my list a couple days ahead of time, letting them know, building up hype, building up anticipation. You know, and there's a chance I could have done $4 or $5 grand, honestly. You know, if I would have built it up and hyped it up more than I did. You know, so that was one mistake. And then looking at the numbers, I posted about it twice on Threads, and then realizing 24% of my sales came on Threads. You know, I made 14 sales on Threads. And I only posted about it twice. And I was like, I should have posted 3, 4, 5 more times. I typically do when I launch something. I post on Threads all the time. And then once the launch is over, I just go delete all the posts. So my feed doesn't look like a spam. You know, it looks like a bunch of offers, a bunch of pitches for 12 to 18 hours. You know, but once the launch is over, then I delete them all. You know, so it's not that bad. And I didn't post it. And I probably lost out on hundreds and hundreds of dollars of sales by not doing that. So those were a couple of mistakes I made. Overall, like I said, my goal was 1,000. We did 2,600. I honestly, a couple days ago, had visions of sending her $500. And now I'm going to be sending her $2,200, which is 4x what I originally planned. Which is awesome, you know, which is super, super cool. And that's one of the things, we do shit like this. I've built up an audience. I've busted my ass putting out content for years. And I had my community show up and show out and purchase. I had many people say, I already have everything in this bundle, but I'm buying to support you and your friend. You know, I'm buying because I want your friend's wife to get the money, which is fucking awesome. And I really appreciate it. If any of you guys and gals bought or talked about it or commented, you don't have to buy. The support means a ton. You know, I had a lot of fun doing it. Not too bad though, about $2,700, you know, and I kind of somewhat threw the promotion together the last minute. You know, but again, there was a reason why, and a powerful reason why I was running the promotion. It wasn't just to have a sale. You know, there was a deeper meaning behind it, you know, and I'm blessed that me and 59 others contributed to send, you know, my buddy's wife and 4 kids, you know, a fat stack of money that's going to help them out tremendously. My buddy's brother, when I talked to him this morning, he's like, dude, you have no idea how much $1,300 is going to help Debbie. You know, now it's going to be like $2,200, you know. So anyways, that's the lesson. I made a couple of mistakes. I'm not mad about the mistakes, you know, but a couple teaching moments. If you're doing a launch, you know, take notes on this video and make sure you do some of the things that I didn't do that I wish I would have done. But all in all, it was a smashing success. It worked out way better than I planned. I'm super fucking happy with it, and can't wait to send her that money. So anyways, I earn a living selling PDFs on the internet. If you have questions, drop them down below, but do my absolute best to answer them. And also I do these videos. I'm actually scaling back. I'm gonna start doing these videos twice a week. I used to do them Monday through Friday. It's too much. I'm gonna do them twice a week for the month of August, see how that works out. So if you like these style videos, hit that subscribe button. Also, I did a free training right up here, how I average $540 a day selling silly little PDFs on the internet. Go ahead and click and watch that. I share my 9-step strategy, and people in the comments are taking what I shared in the video and launching their own PDFs. They're not buying, you don't have to buy anything from me. So check out that video when you get a chance. Thank you.